So once again, after a very long drought of not getting any suits, we are back again in another pattern of getting nothing but seemingly support suits. At least when it comes to recent stuff. But what's going on, everybody? This is Gundam the 13th here with another video. This time talking about the new Gundam GP00. The progenitor of sorts for all of the other GP project suits. I don't think that's even the right word. I bet you it's not. But we are checking this out. It's another support 500 with space compatibility and melee priority 1. Checking out some of the weapons. We do have something new here. The long range beam rifle. Not too bad. Standard shot on this. Also has a discharge, which is pretty much a Gurobi that you have to charge up for. With a charge time of 4 seconds. And a pretty long overheat time. Still decent damage coming out of that. Overall, you'll see a trend of everything's kind of just okay on this. And there are a couple other hangups, but we'll get to that in a second. You know, the beam saber, pretty neat. It's interesting that we have another suit that has dual beam sabers on support. And once you see the skills, you'll notice a little bit as to why. Although, once again, keep in mind about that priority. Moving down, though, we also have in our sub-weapons some Vulcans. Actually not too bad in terms of rate of fire. Some of the build-up, not super great though. Although it can stun with most of the mag itself. Shoulder beam guns, not bad for output. 125, heat rate of 15 with a range of 300, which makes them pretty good for finishing off people in pursuit. Overheat time of 18. I will warn right now, and you will see when we do the demo again later on. These bastards do not stun on their own, even if you go full open with them. So be careful between using either this or this to try to build up stuff when you're either on your own or trying to build up with somebody else. Moving on, like we said, we had the discharge. The power here is 700 and it does do multiple hits. And then we have what I guess is something that's a bit of a big deal for this. In terms of Gundam lore, I'm not super sure if this is one of the first suits to legitimately use like a Radom like this. Thinking back to like the Isaac and a couple other suits like the AWACS in general, I don't really remember a lot of one-year warish suits that had things like that. Mostly it was just cameras and whatnot, right? And then this is a little bit before the Grips conflict in and of itself. But this is another spotting Radom. It also has a different skill attached to it, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, overheat time is pretty long on this one. 35 seconds, but range of 450, not too bad. Moving on then, we will check out the stats and skills. So starting with the stats, like we said, 500 cows here with a HP of 15,000. Not the worst. Going down, we have ballistic resistance at 18, beam resistance at 20, melee resistance at 16, range strength at 30, melee strength at 20, movement speed at 125, top speed at 180, thruster gauge at 70, and turning speed at 57. Looking at the part slots, we're talking close range of 12, medium range of 11, and long range of 13. So not too bad on the slottage, a little bit more middling than you would expect. Especially since it is ultimately still a support, you would think maybe you'd get a little bit more in long range, and technically it is the biggest of the three, but not by a whole lot. Moving on then to the skills, we have high performance radar level 3, high performance scope level 3, observational data link level 1, scout parallel processing device level 1, high performance aerospace gimbal level 2, force injector level 1, high performance balancer level 1, high spec ambec level 2, waist special cushioning level 2, which puts it at 15%. Special back add-on buffer level 2, again 15%. And now we get into the usual stuff for the spotting. MPIWS controller, while this is on, improved range and power for your ranged weapons, makes your radar inactive while MPIWS is reloading. So yes, once you activate this, and it actually is more like a transformation thing, you do have a certain amount of state with this. And once that countdown is done, you will technically be blind. One thing that I haven't been able to confirm myself, you know, obviously we have observational data link on here. I want to say local radar should be different from this, although technically when you're inactive, it should mean that you're not only blind, but everyone else around you can't see. Now, granted, the last couple matches that I've seen where there's been one of these, there's actually been 2 of these. So there's other things that have ODL. It might not be the worst thing, but it is a little bit dangerous if you do know that you're the only one on here, because it does mean, at least for a little bit, that you are essentially like blind with the rest of your team. But precision analysis system, this is also just because you're doing spotting with this, right? So you get an extra bit of damage on there. You can know the HP and all that stuff. I do kind of wish, and I don't think they'd ever really do this just because I don't think they want people paying too much attention to that much data. But practice mode has the stun thresholds. You know, the dueling has stun thresholds bars as well. It would make sense to me if you really wanted to incentivize having this status effect on, especially if you're going to be taking away radar for the rest of that overheat time, to allow people to see even that much. But who knows, they might do a change for that in the future. If we back out a little bit and check out the enhancement list, then we have anti-beam reinforcement level 1, a little bit more range modifier, +1 unit HP, or +100 I should say. Complex expansion slot, once again only coming until the end of the basic upgrades, and then once you use some gold crates in here, we get reduced spawn time as well as a +5 to range modifier again. So overall, not too bad. This is a suit that we've been talking about, hopefully to have in here on the podcast for a good while. We weren't super sure what they were going to do with it, although now them showing off this rifle and stuff, it does make it a bit more viable as a support. Now, as always, we'll be going in to do a bit of a demo to show off things on the field, so I'll see you guys in a second once we set that up.
I handle pilot sorties for the whole camp. Ready to begin?
Here we go. So anyone who was here for that abridged version that I did a little while back knows the general gist, but we had the main shot here, 2600 on a Gundam, not too bad. This is the charging required bit for the discharge. You can move this around, although I will tell you right now, there is not a lot of range of movement for that, so be careful where you commit with it, because swiping it to the correct yourself is going to be a little bit tough. We'll also check out the Vulcans here. Pretty fast, decent amount of damage. You can see that it's mulching through this guy pretty easy. You do get a stun, but you do have to do most of your stuff right out of the gate with that. Now, like we were saying before, the double beam guns. You might have to do it on you, actually. Do not actually get the full thing in there. A little bit unfortunate that it can't stun by itself. If you check out the swings here, it does have a really aggressive downswing. I think the S and a couple other suits have something a little bit like this, and because it has balancer, you can immediately get it out of there once it does boosting, so you are pretty mobile for this. You get some mobility out of the downswing, but not a whole lot. The other thing to keep in mind is that although the ready up isn't too bad on this thing, the neutral is really dramatic. It's a little slow. There are some situations where if you don't think you'll get the downswing down, I wouldn't honestly worry about it, because that first swing is honestly a bit faster than trying to do that. As you can see in certain situations, unless you're already on top of them and like strafed really close to them to hold like a corner like this or something, you're probably not going to hit that in time. Similarly, the side swings have an okay amount of coverage, but you know, it keeps it pretty close to its body. You're not getting any kind of crazy range out of those. Alright, so moving on to our final little piece of equipment here, the MPIWS. Let's get up here. Boop. So the usual spotting, of course you get the extra bonus and stuff, and the MPIWS is up. Noting our damage from before, let's hit this guy. So 3213, a decent jump, right? 420 consistently on something that's not buffered with the shoulders. 167 on here. Overall, not the worst. Keep in mind though that the charge on this, if you're not going to try to do it first, you're probably not going to get it up with 5915 on a general. And then of course, once that's gone, for a hot minute your radar system is going to be down as this recharges, and it is a slow motherfucker. Assuming that you have either something else with ODL or maybe even another one of these in your team, it might not be the biggest deal depending on team comp. But while that is starting to recharge itself, let us move on to the final little bit of stuff here, right? We can check out the damage that this does or doesn't do to the base. But we'll crouch for effect, right? Nothing on this suit. This is actually a naked cop. So we'll see how this does. Standard shot, nothing crazy. The Garobi, nothing too crazy either, which definitely means not a whole lot with this in general. And it's definitely not going to be doing Edgar Guy shenanigans with the melee, even though it is pretty aggressive. But you're talking about a full open, right? All your stuff pretty much out, with less than a bit of a sliver on there. Now, obviously, you can jack on some more range mod and stuff, but this doesn't really seem like it's going to be a really strong contender for base busting. That being said, 500 has its own examples of better suits to do it. This is definitely more of an anti-mobile suit kind of suit, because it does do good damage overall. Obviously, there are other crazier examples. It's interesting to see this come out in an age where the B Gundam, or the B-type full armor, is actually really strong. And generally, probably still a stronger pick than this thing, unless you just really can't help yourself but to do aggressive melee with the downswings and whatnot, right? Obviously, by comparison, the arm-bound saber on the B-type, not super crazy. You're probably just going to be doing a bunch of other stuff instead. But I can dig it. This is another one of those suits where we didn't really need it, but I'm glad that it's here. I am still a little bit annoyed that I don't have the Psychozaku Mark II as opposed to this thing, but you know, this game has a tendency to just spit out supports at you whenever. But we do have some matches that we got in this suit. We'll try to throw one up here so that you can actually see it in a regular fight right around now. Because the boosted charge is only a little bit higher than ours, but it also has to commit. Ideally, we keep them spotted, right? And just constantly just boost them down. But that also assumes that they don't absolutely rush our shit right now and break us up. Mission marking. I still find it really funny that they're doing this campaign of just like, oh damn, it actually was still going. That's not nice. Doing another clan suit at level 2, like, and the shitty one of the two, too. Like, the support Mariner's ass. Oh my god, no. Yeah, they're just gonna pick at me. That's the one thing about this suit that's really unfortunate, is that the shoulder spotters suck. Okay damage, good range, no stun accumulation. Like, they can't actually stun on their own.
Where and how will you redeploy?
And the regular Vulcans are actually worse. But, you know, time advantage, you at least get some decent, like, damage out. Yeah, it's like just short, right? So if someone else is already picking on them, you can help. But like otherwise, by yourself, no. Let's see, you gotta get that. Okay. He's gonna cap E. Oh, that's not good actually. Hold on. So that's probably gonna be like right here. I was really hoping that was the charge and it wasn't. Okay, wait. Oh! Oh my god, it's literally just a bunch of these dudes looking up. There's no one to keep their heads down. Yeah. That's the good shit. Oh, they have a black rider. Fuck that. Oh no. Oh my god.
Enemy allied unit destroyed. Enemy unit down.
There we go.
An ally has destroyed an enemy
feel bad. That's bad. That's fucked up. We could have got that guy and I just hit him. There you go. Yeah, no, hold on. So we got mid for the most part. We're finishing off that. F they never got. Oh, shit, there's a pilot at A. Did you get it? Okay, yeah, you got it. Is another one gonna drop? Oh. Damn. Can't take long at all.
Your radar is being checked.
Got the pink laser.
Allied unit destroyed. Supporting fire incoming. Clear the area.
Now, I must note that this suit in particular, I don't have any range upgrades on,
Fire complete.
except for
Fire missed the enemy.
a slight damage boost from the learning computer, so it can hit harder,
Area.
right? If you build it up a little bit.
Get out there and try again. Long
But at the same time, you would hope that base damage at a minimum would still be pretty respectable, right?
supporting fire.
So I don't know how much of a consolation that really is. Oh Christ! I saw it too late on fool. No 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 no. Fuck you.
It may look bad now.
Bleh.
Give up. Allied unit enemy unit down. Well done.
Bleh.
Damage, pilot. You all right?
Fucker was in my blind spot. Are you kidding me? Yikes. Ah. Ooh. What's happening? Hello? People that are raiding. My eyeballs are glued. I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys are having fun just chatting. I saw that part at least. These Karuba. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're trying to not get absolutely. Was that a fucking Mickey Mouse 00? Oh my god. I think it was. Some of the color schemes, I say as I had this goofy ass color scheme, but some of those color schemes are funny. Like, genuinely. Oh, you can't. Well, you know, I probably should have figured. Can't go prone like that, huh?
Your radar is being jammed.
Boosh. One other thing that sucks about this suit, it does not have good base busting potential out of the box.
Unit's been destroyed.
That did nothing to that suit, that fucking ship. Nothing at all. So I think you really have to try to get glass cannon this thing. If you want, like, oh my god, it's crazy output, oh, you know, like that kind of shit. In fact, I bet you anything. The boosted might actually do more.
An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Just in terms of regular rotation.
There and try again.
So, for a lot of these, Camper has been a pretty good pick for me. My overall favorite suit, even though I don't run it as much anymore, is still the Alex.
Bring that enemy.
Yeah, baby.
Well done. Allied unit destroyed.
I've learned to appreciate a lot of other suits. Like recently, I think Asian put me onto the reloaders on the Jake and D, and that actually helped me get back into A+ for this account. So that got me some good mileage. Stark Jagan is really fun. There's some raids that I do, but not too many. I usually just do a lot of general play. Oh my god, I almost hit him. Oh my god. No! Ah! Unfortunately, at least recently, we haven't really gotten lucky with our oh god! Ow! with our rolls, so whenever we get stuff, it's usually something goobery that I'm not looking to get. Like, it could have been the Zaku Y, right? Could have been the Psycho Zaku TV from last week.
You earned this victory.
But no, I get this goobery ass support today. Oh my god, I literally was just on a swivel that whole time. Help. Jesus Christ. You're having a Pokemon night. Ooh. Which ones did you guys play?
Here are your rewards for this battle.
I will also tell you, unfortunately, that was one of our last matches for today. But we will try to find someone to raid. But overall, I'm not gonna be that guy and say that this suit's ass. I just don't. I don't want to play it. And that was our fight. Overall, this does have some pretty strong moments, but for the most part, unless you're really going above and beyond, you're probably not going to see too many insane results with this. That being said, I also really haven't seen a whole lot of footage with this suit on Twitter either. And when we were doing clan matches earlier this weekend, I think out of all the comps that we saw, mind you, there were some PSN issues, so we didn't get as many matches as we could have. We only really saw 1 or 2 of them in there. But it was a much more aggressive thing. Also of note that this is actually a piercing weapon. So at the very least, you can try to stop people when you have them lined up, and also, of course, do some base busting in there as well. But overall, not the best, not the worst. I don't know what you would necessarily do for this to maybe make it a bit better in terms of unit adjustments down the line. Maybe just tighten up some of the rigidity times, or ready up times. Maybe even just give it some more general output depending. My bigger thing, I guess, would just be the shoulder and the Vulcans need to stun a little bit sooner. I think the damage on them is fine, but they need to be able to do more accumulative. Because even at 500, we're talking about a fair amount of things that have some sort of damage control running around, or that gain damage control from other modes. And then if this thing actually gets a level 2, eventually it's going to be dealing with even more suits with stuff like that at 550. So definitely something to consider, especially when its only other options is a pretty slow Garo in an instant stun that, you know, may or may not be able to compound with whatever else you got. But this is the GP00, another support that you'll be seeing around. Hopefully it doesn't get mulched up too bad by the Psycho Zaku, as well as anything else that's super crazy, because the raids, even at this cost, are pretty devastating. But that is all she wrote. So until next time, this is Gustav the 13th. I'll talk to y'all in the next one.